Because all of the actors are into it, that really makes the audience want to be all into it, and I think that makes it a very cool theater experience. I would recommend it.
Yeah. I want to see this show, and I can't because I'm in it. I'm Grace.
I'm Kate.
And I'm William.
And we're in Brothers Grimm.
It's a funny comedy with a lot of interaction.
It's just a kind of a friendly, high-energy space, and everyone's doing silly, wacky things, and everyone's going crazy, and it's funny, I think.
This is actually the first show I think all three of us have been in together.
Yeah. It's nice to have someone who, matches your energy.
Having someone who can understand the show with you, and you can also be able to work on it at home with them, and have the level of communication that you wouldn't with normal actors, I think that's a very cool element of working with your family on something.
When there's a break, you have two people that you can go to. And you're going to be like...
Yeah.
I started back in 2021, and the first show I did was Little Mermaid. I remember that was the first experience where I had a cast that was almost all into it, and we were so excited to put on the show, and it was really good. And then we did Matilda, I did that with Kate, and it was also a very fun and energetic show, and it was so fun to be in. Then I did Seussical last summer, and then Newsies, and I volunteered in the adult cast of Christmas Carol. I was one of the ensemble kids, and that was one of the most fun experiences I've had at Naples Players. Getting to work with the adults who have done this for years was such a surreal experience. And now I'm in Brothers Grimm.
Yeah, and then watching you have so much fun kind of drew us both in with you.
Yeah.
I'm new to the Naples Players, but I first came here as an A2 or the audio assistant. I help kids get mics on and stuff like that. It's really cool to come here because everyone who is here wants to be here, and they all have kind of that similar let's go, yes and sort of vibe that I really look for in large casts, and it's really fun.
It was very welcoming and felt like a very safe environment.
Been a very fun experience working with all the instructors who have worked for years honing their craft, and working on the shows with them have been very, very cool. They're really good at their job.
I like working with Miss Jessica. She's an animator director, and she's a specific director, and she lets you figure out what you want to do, and then she helps you hone it and get it down exactly. If you said, I want to make this move and I want to do this with my character, she'll be like, yeah, and you can do it in this way to make it come across nicely. There's a lot of other directors who will kind of force you to do what they envision the character to be, and Jessica never does that. She just kind of encourages you to keep going in the direction you're going. And that's very refreshing to have, especially for a youth theater director.
Yeah, forcing a kid to act a certain way that they might not feel super comfortable in isn't great, and I feel like stops educational growth. But if you take what they have and work with it and improve on that, they become a stronger actor, and I think that's one of the things that a lot of the directors at Naples Players really have a great strength in.
Yeah.
Here, it's very improvisational, and that energy is really fun for me, and I love to come up with things on the fly and make weird faces and make silly voices, and so being encouraged to go in that direction instead of stopped and prevented and you're like, no, you can't do that.
And it also feels like you could change or add something. So if something works well the next time, you can try something new instead of staying where you're at. And if that is less, you can go back. Or if it's better, you can keep going. It feels much more free to keep trying new things.
It's like an experimental space instead of a I'm being judged by everybody sort of space.
Yeah.
Running a show doesn't have to be all tasks put onto one person. It has to be spread out, and each person has to do their own minuscule detail that, if it was missing, might even make the entire structure of this show collapse. So everyone needs to play their part into the building of this show. Otherwise, the circle might not, or this structure might not be stable, and it's important to feel important in that structure.
It was nice to learn that I don't have to do everything on my own, which is kind of how I've always kind of taught myself with lines, and I have to figure this out on my own or the director's going to be so mad at me. But it was a collaborative thing. It was an experimental thing, and that was a really nice lesson to learn.
You need to be loud and energetic, and it's okay if you mess up to learn from that mistake and take what you learned to the next level.
I like the King and Johannes story.
The King and
Faithful
Johannes.
Johannes. I like that one a lot.
I always loved Hansel and Gretel watching the scene, partly because my brother is in it, and he's a great actor.
And he's funny.
And-
He's funny.
Plus, the other actors in the skit is also very funny. It's one of the high times when the audience is interacting with them.
Because they're adding in the lines and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely Rapunzel and the Prince. The Prince gets me every single time. I'm not supposed to laugh on stage,
The
and
lines.
it's so hard.
Yeah. That's the test of the rest of the ensemble's ability to keep a straight face. The whole show really is, but that one is like,
You want to laugh so
you
hard.
have to stay calm.
I think, although we're talking about the cast and representing them, we also need to bring up how amazing of a cast we are. And even though we're saying like a lot of the stuff, we aren't in a lot of the show because it's a group performance, and we couldn't do it without everyone. I think that's another key element that some shows miss on, because like we have all the actors do like bios and pictures. Not a lot of the other people who work behind the scenes get that type of stuff, and I think that's another maybe important note to get upon.
Yeah, it's an ensemble-focused show, so even if they're off stage, everybody is playing a role. I've done a few shows where you're on stage the whole time, and it can be really difficult to keep your focus. But when you do, you help direct the audience's focus, and that's the troupe going at it. Also, what you said about people backstage, Naran, our stage manager, watches us flying around the stage haphazardly, running into things, tripping as Jessica's going, stand there, stand there, stand there. She's writing all of this down. And it's amazing that she's able to do that. And I can't do that, but I can admire from a distance.
So I think the real thing was just saying thank you to everyone else.
Yeah. It is a team, it is a group effort. Yeah.
And I think that's something that's sometimes forgotten.
Yeah. I just really like coming back to a show that's really high energy, that's really funny, because I've done a lot of shows that aren't super supposed to be high energy, super funny, and this one is, and that is really nice because I can finally go kind of back to being big and dramatic, and I can make people laugh again and interact with the audience again, and that was one of my favorite parts of theater, is being able to make the audience react and laugh and things, and that's something that I really, it has a very special place in my heart.